paint this landscape with me, a windy afternoon along the lake. The colors I will be using: reddish yellow, lemon yellow, raw umber, burnt sienna, crimson, aquamarine, royal blue, grass green, viridian, azure, deep green, and titanium white. The technique I'm using here is placing dots of colors as I start to build my landscape above into the sky and on ground level and into the water. I will be going back and forth, as you will see, and I try to mix and blend things as I see them fit. I also want to reflect them down below. So as I go above, I also check in with how it's looking into the water. There's a lot of energy in the clouds above, and I also want to have energy down below. I see wind in the clouds, and I also see small waves down into the water of this lake. As I'm building this landscape, I'm also painting the edges of this canvas with the acrylic paints and bringing my sky into the horizon line, now onto the earth, and building my trees. This gorgeous fan brush is just terrific for making these pretty lines as I drag them upward and also down into the water. I kiss the water with these colors as they definitely will be reflecting what's above them and what's on the horizon. I'm adding some more titanium white and smearing in my yellows. I want them to be more of a background than a foreground, but I definitely want the highlight of the yellow in the clouds. I like having thick texture of the paints, so I'm not smoothing it in completely because I like to see it in depth of shadow of the paint as well as the mixtures of the different shades. While I'm painting, I'm looking upwards toward the sky and downwards to make sure that I have enough reflection of those clouds and light into the water, and I add a little bit more. I also like it to be a little bit of a cap onto the waves of the lake. Building the dynamic is a fun process to watch it unfold. And again, always making sure that I drag my paintbrush to the edges as well. You can see that some of my acrylic paint when I laid it down was very bright, and I muted it either with an overlay of the titanium white or different blues and yellows. And of course, we can't forget about those greens and browns. And when you're looking at this landscape, you see that I've only placed those greens and browns into the reflection of the water and not above into the sky. Adding a little more fullness to my cloud and dragging it off to the side. I sit back and I'm pretty satisfied. my landscape is done. I love the variation of colors on the horizon line. Really pretty mixtures. And of course, my Gamvar. Make sure to finish your painting with a little layer of this at the end. I let my painting dry for 24 hours before doing that. Thanks so much for joining me today as we paint this landscape. Wishing you happy creations.